Right, so everything looks good here. Check it out, loads properly, but it does not look consistent with the rest of our application. So how do you get about there? Well, first of all, you can quickly notice that our site, probably this part is not going to change, and either this part down here. So this is what is going to be changing to the different pages. So basically what we call our content area. So what we need to do is that we need to isolate and remove that particular bit. Okay, so we need to see where it starts, where it ends. So we have where, for example, the div container starts. If you have a good editor, this should probably be much more easier for you. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove these parts one by one, and I'm gonna move them to a separate area. So I'm gonna create a new child, which is gonna be called home.html. So this is where basically you're gonna have content that is specific to the home page. Okay. So sorry, I meant to split this one. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna open this file. Then I'm gonna slowly move things out of this area. Okay, so we start with this Jumbotron. Jumbotron is this particular part, this big area. Most sites have that as a marketing gimmick. So let's delete that part. Then we put it there. Okay, so let's take out site how it's still doing. Okay, so no change. Did we save this? No, we hadn't. So load. Okay, so the Jumbotron is now gone. Again, you don't want this content because this is also specific to the homepage. So come right here. So here we have all this stuff about marketing. So you're gonna go right ahead and remove all of it. So you don't need this here. You don't need this at all. So let's just delete it out and paste it down here. Let's see if, okay, so now you have to save our changes once more. So let's make sure we be saving our changes. Okay, so far so good. So this is the basics of our application. This is what will remain. Okay, so now what happens is that content gets introduced somewhere here, not at the footer, but somewhere here. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna introduce something called blocks. So you're gonna introduce a block of content, right? You're gonna call it block content. They could have called it anything you wanted as long as you're consistent, right? So this area is gonna contain that content. So you're gonna go right ahead and provide some defaults here. So what you put here becomes the default data. So just gonna start to see what I mean. So put content here. Okay, so let's try that out, see what it says. Okay, now we want to override this behavior. So you're gonna do it. You're gonna come right here, and the first thing we need to do is that we need to define what we are defined here ahead here. So we need to like do that and put it there and do that. Come back here, put it there. So specify this is our block. Now once you've done that, we need to go back to our view. So our view was here. Alright, so I need to correct that one. But now instead of loading this, which should be our base page, we're instead going to load our home page. So instead of that, we're going to load our home page. Okay, so let's see what happens when you do that. Okay, so as you can see now our content is getting loaded, but now it looks much more uglier than before. Well, the reason for that is that we did not provide where this template should come from, where extra data should come from. So this is how you do it. Let's first close this one out. So here in our template files, let's close this one out as well. So here in our template file, we need to include a special block. So it's called extends. So we must provide this is a child of what? So this is a child of our bootstrap index. I think we called it right. Our bootstrap index HTML. Okay. So in real projects, you probably want better naming than this. Your own projects. So let's go ahead and refresh. It's telling us the bootstrap doesn't exist. Let's see what that's the case. So we have bootstrap index.html. See what's happening here. So okay, all right. So this is a spelling mistake here. Let's make such mistakes to correct them quickly. Okay, so there we go. So our content is now loading as expected. But now we have done something much better. We have created something called a base file. So coming here, we can actually get a much better name for this. Instead of calling it bootstrap index, why not call it the base file? So this is now our base file, or our base HTML. Okay, and now we change everything to reflect this fact. Okay, so we change that, save it, come back and we see. Okay, so nothing has changed. That means it's working as expected. Now what about our students? So we had another file in our home. So in our templates here, we had something called students. We could very easily do the exact same thing for students. Now we no longer need all this HTML. We no longer need all this HTML because all this is gonna come from our parent. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get this and you're gonna delete it. You're gonna get all this and you're gonna delete it because all this is coming from our parents. Okay. Now this again becomes the content. So you're gonna specify this is our content. So this is our blog content. Okay. Come down here and specify the end of the block. So end block. So far so good. Once you have these two parts done, we need to remember to extend it. So this part extends what you already specified before as the base dot HTML. Okay, nice, great. So let's go ahead and load that. That works as expected. The students, and now our student now has all this extra information. Okay, and it looks much more pretty and consistent. Now of course we might need to change our URLs here, but now all this now just needs to be changed in only one place and it will work everywhere else. So for example here, instead of having the narrow, we're gonna change this to something else. So let's change it to our first template. Okay, well, that's a very boring project. So I say we're just calling exciting projects. Okay, then you're gonna load that to see the change here. See if it changes. Okay, this is usually the title, what you see on the bar here. Project name. I need to change that as well because that was specified somewhere here. Change that. Okay, so we need to change this one here to that. So we're gonna call it our exciting project again. So just use the same old name. Boring as it were, it will serve our purposes. Okay, so exciting project. Now you can do almost everything that you could do before. Alright. So something else, notice that we don't want to change these links, they are too boring for now. So let's just go back. Where is our file? Let's see, you want to change on the home page on the base HTML, sorry. Then we have our links here. So instead of using that, you're gonna use this. So this is where we want. Then you're gonna change this to something like, say, our students Okay. Then this is our contact us. Let us see where that one was built out. Okay, so our contact was given here. So this was came to fash 1000 feedback. Okay, so let's see what happens when we actually work on our feedback file here. Once more. So before I change that, let me just change this one, make sure everything works well. So our students will take us to students URL. Contact will take us to the feedback URL. Then come to the feedback URL. Remove all this stuff. Now we don't need to do this many times. We just need to do it once. Delete all that part. We also don't need all this stuff at the bottom here. So we're just gonna go ahead and delete it. And once more, we specify that this is the content for this page. So this is the blog content for this page. Okay. Now we can use this template. Okay, so it's supposed to be end block. End block. As usual, don't forget to do our extension. If you don't extend it, nothing will happen. So if you don't extend it, don't be shocked if nothing is loaded in your page. Okay, so there we go. So let's load our page. Okay, so this for some reason was not loaded. Let me see what went wrong. Okay, so you have extends, HTML, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, save that out first. Oh yeah, I've seen we didn't close the tag, so you need to close the tag. Here, you need to close it for it to recognize it's a valid thing you're trying to do. Voila, so now that is working. So when you go to feedback page, I think we forgot to save this as well. This needs to be saved so that the links come through. Now let's reload. Okay, so now we come to students. That works. We go to contact. That works. Home. That works. Students. Alright. So let's get there before I move on.